Hey everybody, Marcus here with nextlevelrecording.com. Thanks for checking out this video. I just wanted to show you how I am EQing, compressing, sending to delays and reverbs, these cellos that I'm mixing for this short film. And just want to give you a little sample of what we're working with, and then I'll dive into what I am doing. Cool, well, you got some little piano at the back, but I have two cellos here. I have one cello, and then I have a harmony cello. And I'm sort of doing the same thing on both of them. Both of these cellos have an EQ on them. I am using the FabFilter ProQ2, and I'm not really doing much. So as you can see, I've rolled off some of the low end of these, but I don't want to do too much rolling off in the low end, because these are the only things that are playing when they're playing together. So the more low end you take out, the less space that they're going to take up, and I want these to fill up a huge space, so it's filling out the scene and they're not just sounding thin, just kind of lifeless. So I took out, up to 110 on this one and 78 on this one, and then on both of them I just kind of cleaned up just a little bit of mud. There wasn't too much mud here, and I'm not doing crazy moves. This is about 2 dB of reduction at 224, and then up here it was more boxiness in this one, a little bit of mud but not really, at 479. And then as you can see, I boosted quite a bit of 4,500 kilohertz and almost 7,000 kilohertz in this one. And what I'm doing here is basically brightening it up so you can get the bow hitting the strings and really kind of the brightness feel of the cello. Cello is such an amazing instrument, and I want to bring out the strings and how it actually sounds. I'm gonna go ahead and bypass and re-enable these, and then I'll show you a little difference, and then I'll get into what I did for compression. It's very, very subtle movements, but you can hear, it gives it a little bit of a lift, and you can hear the bow a little bit and the strings a little bit more when you boost to the high end. Now, as far as compression, on these, I'm using the CLA-2A, which is an amazing compressor from Waves, and I'm not doing too much. So cellos and violins or orchestras, they're super dynamic, and I don't want to take that away. It really allows you to feel the emotion of the song. So on both of these cellos, I'm doing probably 2 to 3 decibels of gain reduction, maybe a little bit more. You can see there's a little bit of a peak in this first cello here, and I don't want to do too much, so just 2 to 3 decibels. I'm not even adjusting the gain really to get back what I'm losing. Just want to smooth it out a little bit and let them still breathe. You don't want to crush compressors, but I'll show you exactly what these compressors are doing. See, they're really not even doing much. I mean, they jump to 3 decibels, but really only grabbing the peaks real quick, not holding on to it, just kind of turning it down and just letting the rest of it breathe, not doing too much. Don't want to do too much with strings. They're super dynamic. You want to kind of leave them alone. Now, there are instances where you need to squeeze them a little bit more, for whatever reason that might be, to sit in the mix better. Maybe they don't need to be so dynamic, but as far as this particular film score, they need to be pretty dynamic to just draw the effect of how emotional they are. Cool. The next thing I am doing with these, I am sending both of these cellos via aux send to a long cello reverb. I'm using the Valhalla vintage Verb. This is an incredible, super cheap reverb. It is it's amazing. I have it set on ambience mode. I have a pre-delay of 20 milliseconds. Now what pre-delay is, pre-delay basically tells the delay don't start until 20 milliseconds after the signal comes in, and that just allows it to not fight with the main signal and doesn't drown it out. So you get, the transient or whatever you're wanting to capture before the reverb starts. I have a 4-second decay, and mix is set on 100%. I didn't really do any kind of dampening or anything over here. I like to kind of do that with EQ. Just wanted to use the preset. It sounded great to me, and then kind of dive into carving it out with my own EQ. So as far as EQ for the first cello, I'm just taking out the lows and I'm taking out the highs. Now with the reverb, you want reverb to kind of not be so bright, because the further something is from you, the high frequencies tend to die off faster than low frequencies. So you want to kind of roll that off. I don't want it to be super noticeable, piercing to the ear, just kind of a natural reverb. As the further it goes, the less high end it's going to be. And that's all I did for this particular reverb. And then I am sending each of these to a dotted eighth note and a dotted quarter note. I am using the Echo Boy Jr. For both of these, and this is something pretty cool. And you don't really hear it unless I abruptly stop and really kind of at the end, but I have a dotted eighth note, and these are on both of the cellos. The dotted eighth note is panned left, and then the quarter note is panned right. And what this does, it just gives a little bit of texture. You don't really hear it. You kind of feel it more than you do. And at the end, when the cello stops, you might hear a little bit. But I have, the feedback not too high. I did adjust the saturation a little bit on the dotted eighth note just to, give it a little bit more flavor. And then I adjusted the high cut and the low cut, took out some highs on both of them. And this is the same thing that I'm doing for the reverbs. I don't want it to be super piercing. I want it to kind of blend in with the reverb, not be so bright and noticeable. So take out a little bit of the high end, and it kind of matches the reverb a little bit. Now, as far as the delays themselves, I am also sending the delays to its own reverb. So these are going to its own little short plate reverb, and I'm using the Abbey Road plate, which is incredible. If you haven't used it, it is just I can't even explain it, how good it is. But I just have it set on the cello preset and adjusted a little bit, the drive, the pre-delay. I just notched it up just a tiny bit, and that's all I did to it. And then after that, I just EQ'd it. The same type of thing as the reverb, cleaned up the low end, took a little bit of mud out, and then the high end as well. Wanted to kind of blend in, not be super pokey. And what I'm going to do now, I'm going to play you a before, and I'm going to pause it real quick, and you'll be able to hear the delays. One more time. You kind of hear it, die off on both sides. It kind of gives it a little bit of a texture. Dotted eighth note on one side, quarter note on the other side. It really gives this cello kind of an eerie feeling, if you will. I'm going to go to the end, and when these cellos stop, you'll really be able to hear it, and it just flows into the piano that comes up next. See, it's super, super subtle. You don't really hear the delays because they're tucked back in their own reverb. They're rolled off. They don't poke out, just on their own, just with the delay, no reverb. They blend in. They kind of go really well into when the piano comes in, and they just sound awesome. I'm going to play this whole thing again just to give you, a full spectrum of, what it sounds like, and then play a little bit into the piano. And then once that's done, if you guys could please subscribe, leave some comments. I always answer questions. If you'd like to see any specific videos that you want me to explain, feel free to comment, and I will happily make those videos for you guys. And until next time, I will catch y'all later.